we are here. I'm going to be recording some videos on the World of Solitude server that I've been traditionally, up to this point, I've been just live streaming on, and of which I've got like over 80 live streams, but today we're actually going to record some videos on here. So first things first is I will run around and give you a kind of a tour of everything. I'll hop onto the cam account, we'll do some flying around, and you can kind of have a look and see at what all is here in case you've missed anything from my live streams. And then we're going to get into working on some strip mining down below and building some strip mining machinery and stuff that I want down in my base. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this first World of Solitude episode recorded video. Yeah, enjoy. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. We'll see you in a bit. Okay guys, I am on a cam account right now, and we're going to hop on, and I'm going to give you a quick tour of what I've been working on for the last, I don't know, sorry, like 5-6 months on the World of Solitude server. So let's just jump on into it. First things first is we are, I've gone and built this biodome. The biodome here is 221 blocks across. And it is surrounded by a massive wasteland that's out here that is basically an uninhabitable area. It's all covered in podzol and everything. It will spawn hostile mobs, but won't spawn friendly mobs, of which we've got all this ghost glass effect that we've done through here to kind of give these ponds like a bottomless pit type appeal. We are nowhere near done the actual outside construction of this yet, but we're definitely getting closer to a completed build here. There's still a bunch more ponds and stuff that we need to break down. All the podzol work is done in the wasteland area. I kind of marked out an outer border. Eventually I will continue the wasteland on as it's spreading away from the dome. But as you can see, there's still a bunch of ponds and stuff that have to go. So the dome itself, it took probably a good month to be able to complete the dome, of which this was all 100% built in survival. So we're just in spectator mode right now, which does not really give us the ability to go around and build anything. So what do we got? We got our wheat farms up here. This is basically so that we can mass produce leather. We've been just feeding our cow farm here to be able to get things all ground out. What else? We've got our super smelter all set up here, as well as it can also be used for XP. It does have the on-off switch there for XP. We've got our to be smelted and our fuel system chests all loaded up there, fully automated. And then we have the auto sorter. This is my pride and joy here. We are sorting out all of these items automatically into the auto sorter, and all of them pop up a nice little name for you. We've got to rename each one of those blocks so you get a big bold display of what the name is on all these. And we actually have 2 floors of this. We're not completely covering all of the items to stack up to 64 yet, but we are making our way there. We're into this is the wood section and stuff here, and then we start getting into some more random things as we progress and move along. And then I still have a few slots available that we can add to. This is my AFK point here for the automatic squid farm that is here. This squid farm, of course, they just all drop down and they land on this kill platform, and then there is a hopper cart that runs around and picks all of the stuff up that's under there. Below this is our skelly farm. We do have a skeleton spawner that's here that has been producing some bone meal and stuff for us. And there's nothing really, like, none of that is really kind of finished off at all. But this is where everything all gets loaded into. So that's some of our farms that we have here. And then continuing on past our auto sorter. Actually, the next big farm, the next big thing that we did would be, we've got our villager breeder. And this is what the redstone all looks like for this auto sorter. Isn't that just intense? and how many hoppers that are here. It is very hopper intense, this is. So we have our villager breeder here. So we've got a garden here set up that looks after all of our village breeding, and of which we're actually seeing a breeding scenario happening right now. I don't know if they'll actually produce an offspring while I'm on the cam account. Oh yeah, they did. There's an offspring right there. So and we must be getting close to a night cycle, because they're laying down, so he'll hop up and end up dropping down. Right now they all load into this room here. I've got an open floor over here that if it starts to get too crammed, they just work their way over to this and fall and drop, of which one of them didn't drop all the way down, so we're going to have to fix that at some point. The villager breeder system, there's this basic little walkway that's here that runs down to our makeshift villager trading post that we have here, of which we can interact with each one of these and drop them down, get them infected by a zombie, and then cure them to increase their trading abilities. We haven't really dove too far into that yet, but at some point we will work on getting that all taken care of. And then what I've been working on most recently is this area here. I built these energy conduits that are coming up from the bottom that are surrounded by basically it's honey blocks that we're using there to be able to give it that kind of energy pulsing feel. And behind it is redstone lamps that are behind them with some redstone work that's forcing a pulse up from the bottom. And then we have the bubble evaders here up and down to be able to get to the bottom. And then the projects that I'm going to work on today are I'm going to build these machines that look like automatic mining machines or like tunnel drilling machines. And I'm going to replace the stonework and stuff from my old strip mine that's here and kind of expand out into some new strip mines down these tunnels that we're going to bore through the walls here. And this is going to be kind of our main mining central location for being able to get a lot of our materials and stuff. So that's what we've been currently working on. Of course, all of this honey had to be farmed up, and I'm going to go show you that here right now as we head on out over to here. This is my honey production facility. I've got my breeding dome over here. This is where I take care of any bees that I've got that need to be bred up, of which I'm pretty sure all of those beehives are full right now. And then I have beehives all set up in here for our honey productions, and I can actually interact with the chests to see what's inside. So they're producing honey as we speak, and I can hear a bee buzzing. But it's nighttime. I shouldn't hear any bees. I'm not sure why I'm hearing bees. This here is an automatic flower growing station, of which Sweeney had hopped on here and was playing with it and then replanted all the flowers that grew from it. So, but yeah, if we need to grow any flowers for whatever reason for our beehives and whatnot, because eventually I'll probably increase the production of our bee collection, our honey collection here. Maybe set up a shop in Isolation City to be able to sell some honey and whatnot at some point. Behind all this is this tiny little automatic iron farm. This iron farm feeds directly into... So basically what happens is the wall drops down here. The villagers freak out because they can see the zombie. And they spawn a golem, and then the golem drops. And he falls into the lava blade and gets ground up, and then that auto sorts into... He drops poppies and iron. It auto sorts into the auto sorter, the iron going to the iron chest, and then the poppies actually all end up into a bone meal composter. So all the poppies get composted to be able to produce bone meal for us, so that we've got bone meal production for our flower growing station that's over here. So I'm pretty self-sufficient over here right now. So yeah, like I said, the project today is going to be building some mining machines down here. They're not an automated mining machine. They're just a cool looking machine to be able to have down there that look like these tunnels are actually getting dug out. I want to expand those tunnels out quite a ways. So we're going to do a whole pile of mining out of there too. And as we go do those mining sessions and stuff, I will be, running through and kind of showing you some of the farms and stuff that we have set up for being able to either get blaze rods or our ender, which is our end grinder on the server. And so there's lots of cool things here to check out. So without further ado, we're going to, I'm going to quickly gather up some of the materials that I need for being able to build our grinders or our drill machines. And then, then we're going to start getting some building done. All right, as I was prepping for materials for our little mining center downstairs, I suddenly realized that my mining machines are going to be equipped with some end rods on them. And I don't want to go to the end to go and farm up some end rods, so I want to be able to craft them. Of course, crafting them requires blaze rods, which is not a big deal. We do have a blaze farm on the server, so that I'm not worried about at all. However, it also requires the little popped chorus flower or chorus fruits. So we need to, I do have a little bit of chorus fruit, but I don't have a lot. So I'm going to build a semi-automatic chorus fruit farm. And I think that's where we're going to aim for right now in this episode, is to be able to get that chorus fruit farm done. This design is from Cubfan, and I'll leave a link in the description for you guys to be able to check it out. But we're going to go dive into building that chorus fruit farm right now. All right, guys, first things first is we're going to prep here a 21 by 21 square here to build this farm in. So we're just going to make sure everything's all knocked out and leveled out here, and get our square all placed in for this. It's not a fully automatic farm. It is a semi-automatic farm, so it will have an automatic collection system in it, an automatic harvest system in it, but you'll still have to manually harvest the chorus flowers from them, because you need the flowers to be able to replant. And if you don't harvest the flowers manually first, then you're going to risk, you'll lose the flowers to be able to replant, and then you're not going to be able to have your farm anymore. So what I'm going to do now is just make sure we get this nice big area all set up here for the exact size we need. And I'll be right back as soon as I get the square in place. Okay, so I've got this 20 by 20 box in here. The next thing I got to do is I got to put in droppers in the centers on all four sides. However, I do have to craft the droppers first, because I don't actually have the materials on me to craft them up. And it doesn't even look like I have my crafting table with me, so I'm going to quickly grab a crafting table that we can have up there that's convenient enough for us. All because I'm too lazy to go out and either A, go out into the nether, or the end, and farm up end rods, or B, I'm too cheap to go buy any from anybody that might be selling them at any shops. Okay, so let's throw down our crafting table. That's not the crafting table. Our crafting table down here, and we're going to craft up 4 bows. We got those done, and then we are going to switch over to dispenser mode, which should be... what materials am I missing for a dispenser? I think it's some redstone, maybe some iron. I think it's redstone I'm missing, but I've got a few things on me that I need to get rid of in my inventory right now. So first things first is the seeds I'm going to go throw into a composter. Actually, no, I can actually throw them in our auto sorter. We're going to turn our dandelions into yellow dye. We're going to turn our poppies into red dye. We're going to turn the azure into light gray dye, and that into light gray dye, lilac into magenta. Good, then we could just throw this into our dye chest right now. I'm keeping the purple on me because I'm actually going to want the purple for a reason. Because I'm kind of doing each of my builds a little bit themed here. This one is red because I've got redstone energy conduit things that are going up. Yellow over there is the bees, so that's why I've got the yellow over there. And then I'm going to use the purple to accent the build over here to showcase that this is obviously the chorus root farm. So But I don't want to use purple because I don't like the color of the purple blocks. So that's why I'm leaning more towards using like purple concrete or something like that. So let's get rid of the rest of this. That can go, that can go. All right, so now I need to get rid of a few things out of my inventory that we're not going to need now. Like, I'm not going to need cobblestone slabs, the rest of that cobblestone, the sticks, the strings can go. The stone can go. Smooth stone we're not going to need, and the seeds we don't need. I will obviously keep the torches, keep the bows, because I'm going to need those. Oh, you know what? The cobblestone I do need, because I need that for the actual manufacturing of the droppers. So I'm going to make sure that I've got, not droppers, sorry, dispensers. So got to make sure I keep a little bit of that on me, and I'm just going to grab, for the sake of having it, a stack of iron and a stack of redstone. I might actually have to go and look at maybe doing some redstone farming, because I don't have a huge pile right now. Like, I've got a bunch of blocks, but you know, it probably wouldn't hurt to have a little bit more just to be stored up, that if any other Solidians need some, they can pop by and grab it. So let me craft up these droppers and get them set into place, and then we'll be right back. Okay, I've gone now and installed the 4 dispensers in here. And inside each one of these dispensers, there is a water bucket in here. These are going to be used for the harvesting system to be able to collect our coarse fruit out of this. And it basically kind of all pushes the coarse fruit into the middle so that we can have like a minecart collection system underneath. And then just temporarily right now, I have these engaged with a little switch under here. And the reason why we're doing this is so that we can see where the water flow is on this. Because we're just going to kind of mark out the flooring where that water is. So I already ran over and I made some purple concrete. So we have some of this purple concrete here already. And we're just going to put that in as a flooring underneath here. And this way we'll be able to be left with just the green tracks here where the grass is what we've got for our base right now. And that will outline our collection system. So I'm just going to get started in here by placing all these in. And yeah, we'll just kind of run through and dig all this out and try not to be too aggressive with our digging here. And put in a purple floor. So I will be right back once I got this all in place here. Okay, so we got the flooring all marked in. This is the water flow area that we've marked out here with the purple concrete. The next phase of this now is going to be to dig out where this green section is here, is to dig down 2 blocks on that all the way on all 4 sides here to be able to get that big cross section all done. So yeah, we're just going to start going through and digging this down. We want to dig this down 2 blocks. And obviously, of course, sometimes we're going to, you know, dig a little deeper than we wanted to, but we will get this all dug out now. Okay, so now that we got everything all dug out here, the next thing that we've got to do is we've got to set up a collection system. So I've already dug out the 1 square here. We're going to quickly throw in a hopper in that way with a couple of chests out here. Of course, my efficiency on my shovel is a little bit too ambitious and is digging out too many blocks. Okay, and then from here, I'm going to go with a white concrete block right there, and then I need to build a rail system out of this, and then start actually digging down here with it. And so I'm just digging the little trench here right now for the rails, because this is going to be all part of the collection system in here. So we will get this all kind of dug out, and then I got to grab some power rails and some regular rails, and we'll get this all in place. I'm going to grab a bunch of redstone blocks too, because I don't want to have to deal with trying to power the rails. So Cubfan's tutorial was to throw just some levers underneath to power the rails and stuff. You know what? Redstone, I've got enough of it. I'm going to just throw in blocks of redstone to power things up. So I'll be right back once I have all that in. Now I'm going to start this with a couple of powered rails to start off with, and then we can switch over to standard rails at this point, because basically this will get powered, which will power those, which will start this unit. I actually might even set this one here to just a regular rail as well, so that this one will kind of force that cart to stop. Actually, no, the way it's set up is that can be powered, just to give it a little extra boost the way things go. And then we'll just come down here. I'm going to dig out a block and then throw in a redstone block in here to power this one up. So that will stay powered. We'll put a couple of them down just to kind of get the ball rolling here. Turn this out. I'm actually going to change this out to another powered rail. I want to keep it so that it's actually cooking along at a pretty good pace. And so basically what we need to do now is we need to zigzag these blocks back and forth along here to be able to gather any of the chorus fruit that's along the edges there. So to do that, we're going to kind of work our way along here, and we're going to dig under and then curl our way back. And then I'm going to change this one out here to a powered rail. Just like so, and then we'll put in another regular one, then we'll dig out this one, curl it around, change this one out to a powered rail, and we're just going to alternate our way back and forth here so that this cart system will weave its way through. And once I get that all in, we'll pop right back, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's all finished and a little bit easier to kind of lay out everything. So just give me 2 seconds and we'll have this all laid out and you can have a look. All right, now we have the collection system all in place. So basically the track system runs along here, and then it zigzags along where the water is going to be pushing all the chorus fruit into the center here. And it kind of zigs around and it goes all the way that way, and then it cuts clear across this section here. And then it zigzags its way back here again and does this little loop through, and then zigzags all the way around, and then ends up coming back up here, and the minecart comes up, hits this wall, and drops back down to its reset position. So let's just give it a launch here, and you can see kind of how it ends up running through the system here. And as you can see, it's booking along, doing its thing. A little bit of server lag there as we see it stutter a little bit, but all in all, it's doing its thing. It'd be collecting up any of the items that would be above it right now. And then as we see it shoot up here, it's going to bounce against this wall and drop in right there. So that is our collection system. So now there's a little bit of tricky redstone that has to get in place here. And I'm going to be like glued to Cub Van set up on this for being able to activate this. And it's actually going to extend out this way a little bit. So we'll end up having to kind of clean up our area around here where the redstone's all going to be for this. But yeah, that's pretty much ready to go. I do have to cover in some of this purple concrete back in over here again, because we had dug it out so that we could put the track system under there. And now I'm throwing stuff around everywhere, so I'm making a mess of everything, and I gotta go grab those 2 blocks of concrete. Of course, I gotta find my way out of here because this is all down 2 levels. There we go. We're out. Yay! And dig out these ones. And these are the last 2 blocks that go right in here. Now, I'll end up using a different colored concrete, probably black concrete or something, for X marks the spot in there. Save the purple for some of the other accents and stuff that are going to be in here. So, because eventually all this rail system is going to be completely covered, because the chorus fruit will all push towards the center of it there. So, but yeah, so the next phase is the redstone. When I come back, I'll let you have a good look at how the redstone's configured. Again, I strongly suggest you go and check out Cub Fan's tutorial. He does a block by block layout of it, and I will definitely include the link in the description so that you can get that information for yourself. So we'll be back when this is all filled in with the redstone. Got all the redstone kind of in place here now and ready to go for the first dispenser, and kind of pre-primed and set up for the second dispenser, so on and so forth, to third and fourth. So but I'm going to show you kind of where we're at right now. You can pause the video, take screenshots of the redstone if you want, but we can dive in to have a look at basically how this is all set up. So just going to switch camera angles. Okay, so whipping down here, we have placed a block that's 4 away from the cart here. So 1, 2, 3, 4th block away, and we put a button on that. Below that, there is 1 block on it with redstone there. And then we step down 2 more blocks with more redstone dust. A couple more redstone dust this way. So the first line we did is, this is the one that activates the actual dispenser to shift the water, and then also sets it up to turn off the dispenser when we don't need the water anymore. So this redstone dust here goes into a repeater, and then there's redstone dust here that then shoots off this way. That's going to lead to the second line to be able to set up the second dispenser. And then that feeds off of here, comes in here, and there's a redstone dust on top of that block. There's redstone dust on top of this block. And then there's another block here and a torch. And that's what activates the dispenser, which says, okay, it's time to get some fluid going out there. The second part of this is dust that comes down here into a repeater with 4 ticks on it, into a block with a torch, and then from here we have redstone dust that comes all the way across here, and then we come, that's basically powering this block, and then we've got a Zoomofoid timer in here, or a Ilmango timer in here. So we've got 2 hoppers that are feeding into each other, and in them is 24 blocks for the correct timer that you want to be able to set at it. We also placed a block on top of this first hopper so that this redstone torch that's activating the dispenser system doesn't block this from working properly. Then out of this hopper, we go into a comparator that's feeding into this block, redstone dust that goes beside a repeater that goes into this hopper with a comparator out the back of it that then shoots a redstone signal that's split off into 2 different directions. So the first thing is this direction here activates the rail at a set given time interval. It doesn't just launch it. It kind of waits until the water's had a chance for all the items to flow into the center before it sends the rail system down. So you've got 4 repeaters here in a row on this circuit that are set to 4 ticks. So 4 ticks, 4 ticks, 4 ticks, 4 ticks into a block with a torch, and then another block with a torch. Our rail is right here that the minecart system is on, so we're power railed both those ones there. The actual minecart sits on top of this hopper, but both of them are powered rail because this torch is going to power that rail that's going to send the cart along its way, and then it'll go do its thing and arrive back on this location here. The second part of this line is actually what tells the water dispenser to say, okay, I'm done with you now, turn off the water flow. So this signal goes back through here, through 3 single tick repeaters that run up through here and tag this line, which then basically power this system again to shut off the water all the way around. It seems overly complicated, but it actually really does make it. There is a complete logic behind it. So basically we're activating a button that turns on, activate the button, this line here, this circuit here, turns on the dispenser. The water is now flowing out. This circuit over here, after a set time period, send the minecart going. Also, branch off that circuit, come back into here and tell, it kind of does a little loop here, tell the dispenser to shut off so it's not flowing any more water again. That's how this circuit ends up running. And then of course, because it all ties into this line here, it will tell the other dispensers, hey, I'm ready to go. So this is our result. We click this button. The water is engaged. Of course, we only have one of them in place right now. So the water's engaged. It's harvested the chorus fruit. The chorus fruit all falls down and is all pushed towards the center. Now the minecart system runs off, goes and does its thing, and it's told to shut off the water. So the minecart's going around and picking up all of its materials. You can see it coming back now. It actually doesn't take long for it to do a full loop of the system. And then it's going to come shooting up here and ploop, land right back on here for us. Now it's emptying its items into this chest for us to be able to come by and pick it up. Okay, so now I have all 4 of the water dispensers are set up in place now. We've also done a little bit of accenting to get prepped for putting a wall structure around this. And we'll just show you kind of what it looks like now when we activate all 4 of these together. And I've kind of just cleaned up the outside of this a little bit, made it look like there's, you know, some type of a power grid here, something like that that's running the device. I clicked the little button. All 4 water dispensers fire. So if there were any coarse fruit planted there, all of the fruit would be pushing through into the center. Now all the waters are getting shut off. The minecart is currently running around underneath right now, picking up all the little bits and pieces. And then we sit here and we patiently wait for that minecart to return, which really doesn't take that long. It'll just all of a sudden, bloop, it'll drop back in front there. And we will be able to just start unloading automatically, because there we go, it lands on the hopper and it unloads all that stuff. So yeah, we're pretty much now, the next phase here is putting in the end stone that needs to be in here for being able to actually harvest, or to be able to grow the coarse fruit. So and there's a specific pattern we got to do. So right now I gotta go get myself some end stone, because I have none, and then we'll get the end stone put in here and yeah, get this kind of ready to go for the next phase. Alright, I've got some end stone. I just got back from the end and farmed up some end stone here, and there is a very specific pattern that we need to be able to place these in each of these little triangles here. So first off, you got to get this first one in place. So that one's going to be there. Skip one, do one, skip one, do one, skip one, do one, and then we do the same down the other side. Skip one, do one, skip. Whoop. That one we need to keep. Skip one, do one. Skip one, do one. Okay, so that's so on and so forth. And then we do the same thing. We're up over on this one. We're up over on this one. And then I believe it's up over right, skip 2, and then put 1 here. So this is the layout that we need to be in here. So end stone, end stone, end stone, end stone, end stone, end stone, and done. So that is the configuration that you want to have your coarse fruit trees planted in here. And then once we get all of these in place, there's a specific configuration we do with some glass. We're going to set up some glass panes up here that will basically force this to grow the coarse flowers. We need to have the flowers with it that are easy enough for us to be able to harvest without having to climb up and harvest the flowers. So it kind of forces a set of the flowers to be down low enough, and may even produce more than enough flowers for what you actually need to be able to keep the farm self-sustained. So that's what we're going to do. So right now I'm going to quickly run through and get all of the end stone in, and then we'll, as soon as I've got that done, then we'll go back to showing you what to do with the glass panes. Okay, the next thing we got to do for being able to make this sustainable and keep all of the chorus flowers low enough that we could be able, not all of them, but keep enough of them down low enough that we'll be able to harvest them, is along the outside edge of these triangles of end stone that we did. We put up 2 high rows of dirt up each side of it, like this, and then also up that middle triangle. And we did it for each section in here. So you're going to want to go through, run around, and put in all of these piles of dirt in here, just because it's going to make it easier to be able to place our glass panes. So now all that the dirt is placed, what we're going to do is on top of this dirt, we're going to place glass panes, just like this. And we got to do that on all of the dirt that's here. So Of course, we want to try to make it easy enough to be able to hop around on here. And yeah, so throw the glass panes up on all of them. You don't have to, you can use a solid block if you want. This just makes it easier so that you can kind of look around. Cub Fan did it with the glass panes. He used purple glass panes for his. I wanted to do black because I'm actually going to put black stained glass on the outside of this to enclose it. So we're just going to keep filling in all of these. Then once you have all of the glass panes in, you can actually go around and just delete out, dig out all the dirt. And this is pretty much ready to go to be planting. The only thing you'd want to do after you get all the glass panes in is get outside wall structures, because of course coarse fruit trees grow really obscure. So you'll want to make sure that they don't grow outside of the building, because they may not get collected properly and you'll end up losing fruit on the outside of the building. So build your walls all up around the outside, and then your fruit will all end up in the collection system is your ultimate goal with it. So next time we see this, I'm going to have the walls done. I'm going to have all the glass panes done. All the dirt will be dug out of here. And then we will plant some coarse fruit and get to the farm up and running. All right, with a little bit of time and effort and concrete manufacturing, we have the coarse fruit farm completed, and it is all ready for planting now. So it is all right here behind us. I've got a enclosure and everything all built around the coarse fruit farm. Let's jump in and start planting some of the flowers. I did harvest from Isolation City. We have there's some coarse fruit that are just growing up there in the city that I was able to harvest some flowers off of. Coarse trees. So I was able to get some flowers that we're going to plant in place here, and then we'll be able to let this thing start growing and really get our coarse fruit production running as smoothly as it can. So we're just going to quickly run around. Of course, these all have to be placed on the actual end stones that are here. So look at this already. They're already starting to grow. That's how efficient this is. So this is fantastic. And then we're going to let these things grow up for a bit. I'll just AFK myself here, and we can let the trees grow up, and then we'll pop back and do a harvest of everything. So I've let this grow for about 8 or 9 minutes right now, just AFK, sitting outside, and then hopped on the cam account and kind of flew around a little bit so you guys can see kind of as the coarse fruit is, or the coarse trees are growing here. And so we have enough of them, I think, probably growing up right now. And as you can see with the glass panes here, it has forced a lot of the coarse flowers to grow down here, and that is what we need to manually come through here and harvest. Now, the ideal tool to use for harvesting the flowers is the axe. That's your best tool for breaking them. And so we're going to harvest here, and you need to make sure you harvest at least 40, because it takes 40 to replant these trees. And we have enough of these trees growing right now that we're going to give this a go. So I'm going to quickly run along here, and we're going to knock off all the flowers that we can reach. And we should actually end with a bit of a surplus on these. We should probably end up with more than what we are initially going to need for replanting. So I'm just running around here. We're going to knock all these off. And try not to knock too many of the actual trees down, because we'll let the we'll let the auto harvesting system take care of the trees. But I mean, I'm getting a little bit axe happy, and I'm busting a few of the trees down here. So we're just gonna quickly run along, and before long, it doesn't take long till you get all of the flowers harvested up here. So I think there's just a couple more left. Just one more right here. As soon as I find a pathway through that we can get to it. There we go. And so what do we got? We have exactly 40 flowers. So we got just enough flowers out of here. If I had let this grow a little bit more, there's a pretty good chance that we could have got some more flowers down here. But I only let this go for like 8 or 9 minutes just so that we could run a test on this. And so here goes nothing. I'm going to run over here. I am going to move those out of the way. Hit the harvest button. Bam! All of the trees just busted right now. And as you can see, all of the coarse fruit is getting pushed into the area here where it's going to be harvestable. And the minecart is now launched. And all of a sudden, you're going to start seeing this coarse fruit disappear off the mat here. And so bit by bit, it's gathering up all the coarse fruit. So it just finished that. It's coming around this way. It's going to come back up that. It just took that one. And then it'll hit there. That's all gone. So now the cart is coming up and dropped here, and it's unloading the coarse fruit into our chest. Everything completely automated for the harvest part. Now we run back through and we replant our coarse flowers, and that will reset the farm for its next round. So I'm just going to quickly run around here, get all these planted. I mean, it doesn't take long before these things already start growing. So before you even get them planted, some of them are already growing 1 or 2 spots. So all right, that should be all of them. We've used up all 40 flowers, and now we let the farm do its thing. So the next time I go to harvest this, it'll probably be tomorrow sometime, and I'll have the trees will be like right grown up, so we'll get a much larger haul on the fruit. I don't think we got a huge haul. Well, actually, we did all right. We got over 2 stacks of fruit, plus the little bit that we had got. So 2 stacks plus 6 of the coarse fruit. That's pretty decent. And if you didn't know, coarse fruit, when you eat it, will heal you, or will give you 2 haunches of hunger, as well as randomly teleport you. So kind of a nifty little thing. Probably not a bad thing for like a PvP type environment. If you're doing any PvP, you could eat that and it'll teleport you to a different location if you're being chased or something. So that's something that you can keep an eye on for doing any PvP type playing. So guys, I would say this pretty much wraps up an episode. I didn't end up getting to a point where I wanted to get like the mining machines and stuff built down below, but I needed these because I needed to be able to make end rods. And that was the big thing, is trying to be self-sustained inside this biodome that we've got here. So that was just the next farm that needed to get done. And so next time, we're going to be inside here working on getting those little mining machines put in place and our big mining tunnels at the bottom of our main energy chamber that we've got set up here. With that said, guys, please leave a comment, like, subscribe, share this with as many people as you want. Sharing actually does a big thing for helping the channel grow, so I encourage you to please share this video around. With that said, guys, until next time, you have yourself a good one. Later.